If you're a basketball fan, especially an NBA fan who follows young stars and rising talents, then the story of Cooper Flagg this season has been one of the most fascinating narratives in all of sports. Here we have a teenager, literally just turning 19 on his birthday, stepping onto NBA courts night after night, and making a name for himself in one of the toughest leagues in the world. But as exciting as his rise has been, the latest update on his injury has been a tough moment. Not just for Flagg, but for Mavericks fans who have been watching him grow into his role as a cornerstone of this franchise. Cooper Flagg's birthday was supposed to be a celebration, a day to soak up the admiration of fans, enjoy time with family, and maybe even have another standout game under his young belt. Instead, the news that came out was bittersweet. According to the latest NBA injury report, Flagg was listed as questionable ahead of the Mavericks matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans due to a back contusion. That phrasing, back contusion, might sound a bit clinical or even mild to some, but in the middle of a long NBA season, it's enough to make you hold your breath, especially when it's coming on a day that should have been all about celebration. Yahoo Sports. Now, let's be clear about what this all means. A back contusion is essentially a bruise, but it's a bruise in your core. It's the kind of thing that can make running, jumping, and twisting, all things essential to playing basketball, uncomfortable and unpredictable. Young players like Flagg, who rely on explosive movement and confidence in their body's response, can be especially sensitive to something like that. It's not the same as a serious structural injury like a torn ligament, but it's enough to throw a wrench into preparation and performance, especially when it shows up right as you're coming off a breakout stretch. Yahoo Sports. Speaking of that breakout stretch, it's worth remembering just how special Flagg's rookie year has been so far. The Mavericks made a bold decision by selecting him with the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, a decision that instantly made headlines and set expectations sky high. But Cooper hasn't just lived up to those expectations. He's been one of the most dynamic performers in the league. In recent weeks, he's averaged close to 19 points, over 6 rebounds, and more than 3 assists per game, while shooting near 48% from the field. Those are remarkable numbers for any player, let alone a 19-year-old in his first season. Yahoo Sports. To put that in perspective, think about how rare it is for someone that young to even get meaningful minutes, let alone put up consistent all-around production. Flagg has been that rare talent, the kind coaches trust to run pick and rolls, make plays off the dribble, and impact the game on both ends of the floor. It's the kind of maturity that usually doesn't show up until year 3 or 4 for most players. But Flagg has been doing it from the jump. And it hasn't just been about the regular stat line. Cooper Flagg has already redefined expectations for players his age. In one memorable game, just days before this latest injury news, he erupted for a career-high 42 points against the Utah Jazz. He didn't just score. He contributed across the board with rebounds, assists, steals, and energy that left fans and analysts stunned. That performance didn't just break personal records. It etched his name next to some of the greats who have come into the league at a young age. Reuters. So when the injury report came out on his birthday saying he was questionable to play, there was an immediate sense of disappointment, not just because it might keep him off the court, but because it interrupts this incredible narrative arc that has captivated Maverick supporters and basketball fans across the league. There's a feeling that every game Flagg plays is a moment worth watching, a chance to see history in progress. And the thought of him being sidelined, even temporarily, is hard to accept. Now, the Maverick organization is hopeful that this back issue isn't serious. Coaches and medical staff are optimistic that it won't keep him out for long, and honestly, that's the most important part. The Mavericks have to balance the desire to win games with the long-term development of their young star. That's something teams often struggle with, especially when expectations are high and fans want instant results. But in Flagg's case, managing his health early in his career, protecting his body, and making sure he's ready for the grueling pace of an 82-game season is critical. This situation also highlights just how different the NBA schedule can be compared to college or high school basketball. Players like Flagg are suddenly thrust into a world where they're traveling almost every other day, adjusting to different time zones, and playing at an intensity that demands minute-by-minute physical readiness. Even minor aches and pains, if not managed properly, can escalate. So while a back contusion might not seem headline-worthy on its own, In the context of a young player's first professional season, it's something that warrants serious attention. But if there's one thing we know about Cooper Flagg, it's that he approaches everything with a fierce determination. He's been hailed for his work ethic, his competitive spirit, and his willingness to put in the work to improve every aspect of his game. Whether it's adjusting to the physical toll of the NBA schedule, learning to navigate defensive schemes, or mastering his post-up moves, Flagg has shown that he's not just talented, he's committed. For Mavericks fans, this moment, as disappointing as it might feel, is really just one small bump in what looks like a very bright road ahead. If Flagg can weather this, continue to develop his body and his game, and stay healthy through the ups and downs of a long season, he could very well be one of the faces of the league for the next decade. So as we wait for more updates on his status, and hopefully see him back on the court soon, one thing is clear. Cooper Flagg's rookie season has already been unforgettable, and even this injury update, while unfortunate, doesn't change the fact that we're witnessing something special. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more NBA insights, and let me know in the comments what you think Cooper Flagg's future holds. In this league, we'll see you in the next video.